Part 133. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1321. He, the sixth prince of the great Jin kingdom is so noble that you, a woodcutter chopping wood in Nanshan, can't just meet him whenever you want. Even I am too lazy to meet you, so I'll leave first. By the way, I think the young Prince Wanyankang is good, so I have accepted him as my disciple. You can do whatever you want. After weighing the pros and cons, Wang Feng said something harsh, but in fact he slipped away. The big ship of the Jin kingdom escaped before Nanziren's ship approached. The old poison knew that Nanziren was stronger than him in terms of internal strength in a single round. They had never competed in martial arts techniques, so he thought he was slightly better. If the two of them fought normally, the outcome would be unknown. But now is not a normal situation. Wang Feng has been in a series of battles these days, and he was injured and soaked in water for 2 days. His condition is definitely not as good as Nanziren. What's more troublesome is that Nanziren also brought helpers. Kajin Wu, Zukong, and Quan Jinfa are not something that this ship of Jin soldiers can handle. If he doesn't run now, when will he run? However, since he has agreed to be Wanyankang's master, he must protect them. He had to make a harsh statement. Wanyankang was Qiu Chuji's apprentice before, and he worshipped Wang Feng as his master. This is an act of betraying his master and destroying his ancestors, which is despised by people in the martial arts world. But Wang Feng and the 7 sons of Quan Zhen are already enemies, so he is not afraid of offending them. For now, the most important thing is for him to fully cooperate with the Zhao Palace. As for the bad reputation in the martial arts world, can it be worse than the Western poison? Nanziren, Huang Xiaoming, understands that Wanyan Hongli's boat trip south this time should be to steal the Wu Mu's testament from the Great Song Palace. The book is now in his hands, so there is no need to bother to stop him. It is also quite interesting to let them work in vain. It is important to rescue Hong Kigong, Lao Wantung and other talents. He knew very well that since Wang Feng dared to bring a boat of Jin soldiers to besiege, it meant that Hong Kigong and Lao Wantung should be in a state of being unable to fight, otherwise the West Poison would not be so bold. So he hurriedly sailed to meet them. Fortunately, he arrived in time, and neither of them had any new injuries. After a month or so, they would probably be able to recover as before. It's a pity that he didn't do much in the plot. But it doesn't matter, because Xiaoming replaced Nanziren's identity to play the game, so he won't get the rewards from the game system. But I don't know if the system will still be so stingy after clearing the entire secret realm, or if it can give something to show its appreciation. Xiaoming is just daydreaming and wishful thinking. Because of the vest of Nanziren, he has obtained several unique skills such as the 18 palms of the dragon subduing, the left and right fighting, the song of the rising tide of the blue sea, and even the lower volume of the 9 yin manual. These things alone far exceed all the rewards that ordinary players can get by clearing a secret realm. What else do you want? Besides, this is not over yet. Nanziren will definitely get more things if he continues to play in this secret realm. People should not be too greedy. After saving Hong Kigong and others, the 2 large ships immediately turned the rudder and returned to Peach Blossom Island. Huang Rong wanted to chase Wang Feng. But Xiaoming refused resolutely, so he had to give up. When they were about to arrive at Peach Blossom Island, Huang Yaoshi and Mei Kao Feng's large ship also came back. Seeing that his daughter was safe, Huang Yaoshi was a little surprised. After asking carefully, he found out that not long after Zhao Wangfu's ship left, it encountered Huang Yaoshi's large ship again. Huang Yaoshi didn't know about Wang Feng's sneak attack at this time, and the 2 sides chatted for a while. Huang Yaoshi asked Wang Feng if he had seen Hong Kigong, the old naughty boy, and his daughter and son-in-law. Before Wang Feng could answer, a bold Jin soldier suddenly jumped out to interrupt. Just like Master Lingzi in the original novel, he lied to Huang Yaoshi and said that these people were dead. Huang Yaoshi's expression changed drastically, and he pressed Wang Feng to ask. Wang Feng didn't dare to say yes or no, and could only say that he had just boarded the ship and had not seen them. So Huang Yaoshi forced the Jin soldier to describe in detail, saying that the man had only seen Huang Rong and Guo Jing from a distance before the two sides went to war, and had not met Hong Qigong and the old boy. As soon as he asked, he let the cat out of the bag and was slapped to death by Huang Yaoshi. Wang Feng was so angry that he didn't make up a lie. You don't know, but you ask me? You have to make it up yourself, you deserve to die. It's a pity that the West Poison missed such an opportunity to seriously injure Huang Yaoshi. However, although Huang Yaoshi knew that the Jin soldier was lying, he was still more worried about his daughter. I always feel that what should I do if what the Jin soldier said is true? Only when he saw his daughter intact did he feel relieved. After hearing about this, Xiao Ming felt that the system was so boring. It was so boring that they had to come up with something like this for fun. Why didn't they come up with something about the isolated island and the giant rock? That would be much more fun. Unexpectedly, the next thing the system came up with stunned Xiao Ming and the others. What? Qigong, you said you want me to be the leader of the beggars sect, Nan Ziren pointed at his nose and asked. The others also stared at the old beggar. It was common knowledge that Hong Qigong intended to train Nan Ziren to be the next leader. Xiao Ming knew it himself. But now Hong Qigong was still young and strong, and the injury he suffered was not the kind of serious injury that could not be recovered, so why did he want to pass on the throne now? Even the East Evil Huang Yaoshi was surprised. Hong Qigong had a reason. First, he was lazy and it was troublesome to manage the gang affairs. He preferred to travel around and taste the world's delicacies. Second, although he was not very old, he was not young either. Nan Ziren's martial arts were no less than his, and he was younger than him, so it would be good to take over earlier. Third, the Jin Yuanbao plan was a big plan that benefited the country and the people. The beggars gang had to contribute to it. Hong Qigong thought that he could not handle such a difficult plan. It was the most appropriate to hand it over to Nan Ziren, the initiator. When he was in distress at sea, Hong Qigong regretted that he should have passed on the position earlier. When he was attacked by the Jin Kingdom's ships, he almost passed the position of the gang leader to Huang Rong. This time the transfer was not a whim. Huang Yaoshi knew about the Jin Yuanbao plan and agreed with Hong Qigong's idea. He also urged Nan Ziren to take on the task bravely. Other old naughty boys, Ke Zhenyi, Guo Jing, Huang Rong, and others all strongly agreed. This matter was settled. Xiao Ming himself was not opposed to the position of the leader of the beggars section. Apart from other things, Xiao Ming was very willing just for the extremely powerful dog-beating stick technique. So Xiao Ming's martial arts list added another dog-beating stick technique. This 36 stick techniques are extremely mysterious and not very suitable for Xiao Ming's martial arts. But he still had to learn it. Although Xiao Ming's martial arts talent was not high, he was much stronger than Guo Jing. In addition, with his strong internal strength, this set of dog-beating stick technique could also exert 80% to 90% of its power on him. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1322. Having roughly learned the dog-beating stick technique, Nan Ziren, Huang Xiaoming, almost got carried away. Just at this time, an emergency occurred on the Sheneng 2 spacecraft, which successfully interrupted his conceit. It may also have avoided some wrong decisions. Today is Thursday, October 20th. Little Sheneng suddenly reminded Xiaoming that an abnormal situation was detected in front of the Sheneng 2 spacecraft. At the same time, he also issued an alarm to the entire spacecraft. This has never happened since the crisis of the Sheneng 2 spacecraft was resolved. Huang Xiaoming immediately returned to his bedroom on Dahua Island and quit the game. Just when Xiaoming left the game cabin and opened the door of the room, he happened to see the housekeeper Xin Ping running towards him in a hurry. If it were an ordinary person of the same age, he would have been out of breath at this time. But although Xin Ping is old, he is a sea-level death god and has good physical strength. This is why he came here even though he has all kinds of communication devices. It seems more solemn to come in person. Anyway, he was also very fast, and the time difference was not much, but it could reflect the importance that the Xin family attached to the leader. The computer system of the spacecraft has sounded an alarm. Please follow me. Leader Xin Ping said this hurriedly, and ran to the bridge first. The two were very fast, and Xiaoming was also tactful and did not ask any more questions. Because the computer system of the spacecraft is Xiaoshenan. Xiaoshenan merged with Xiaoming's mind beast, Hot Blood Mujia, and could communicate with Xiaoming in real time. Xiaoming actually knew what he should know earlier. In fact, at this time, the captain of Shenan No. 2 and the head of the Xin family, S-level Master Xin Ku, had recovered 60% to 70% of his strength. He could handle ordinary things by himself. Sending someone to invite the leader to come was mainly out of courtesy. Now the relationship between the Xin family and the leader is already an alliance, a cooperative relationship, which is very different from the ordinary employment relationship before. It is very rare for a spacecraft to sound an alarm. In the past, even if it encountered a small meteor shower, there would not be such an alarm for the entire spacecraft. This means that something bigger and more serious happened to the Shenan 2 spacecraft, and it is right to notify the allies. On the other hand, Xin Ku has not fully recovered yet. S-level masters will not be seriously injured easily, and once they are seriously injured, it will take time to recover. He is not like Xiaoming, who can find a reincarnation world at will and stay there for 10 years. If 10 years are not enough, then stay for 20 years, and even the most serious injuries will be completely healed. Unfortunately, Xin Ku does not have this authority. In fact, now that he has recovered a certain strength, he will no longer waste resources and avoid reincarnation missions. Each of his missions will not be too long. The short one can be a few hours, and the long one is no more than 10 days. Accumulated, plus the time spent in the real world, it is not enough to recover from injuries. Moreover, he is now much more conservative, and everything is based on recovery. He will not take risks in the mission easily. Even if he is 70% sure, he will not take action. Of course, with Xin Ku's adventurous personality, the 70% sure he thinks is estimated to be more than 50%. It is right not to take action. I just don't know if he can stick to it. As soon as Xiaoming entered the bridge, a little fox jumped out of his body and collided with another little fox in front of him in the air. However, the two of them began to run around the bridge, mumbling and talking about something. It was Xiaoming and Xin Shui's tailed beasts, two little nine-tailed foxes with yin and yang attributes. Xin Shui and Xiaoming smiled at each other. The female death god was still very happy to see the leader coming. With her simple intuition, she felt that the leader was much more reliable than her father. Only when he came, Xin Shui could really feel at ease. Captain Xin, is there a problem with the spacecraft again? What's the situation? Xiaoming asked knowingly. Xin Ku did not sit in the captain's seat. He just stood up and greeted the leader for 2 steps. At this time, he gestured to an employee on the operating table. The man fiddled with the operating table for a few times, and a huge light screen projection appeared in front of everyone, showing the situation in outer space. 5 spaceships with strange appearances appeared in front of them, forming a cross star. It seems that they encountered aliens. Due to the unexpected encounter with the unknown spaceship, both sides tacitly stopped the spaceship. If they continued to move forward, they would have to go to war. Of course, there is no absolute stillness in space. The stillness of both spaceships is relative to the Sun of Pangu star. In theory, these spaceships should also revolve around the sun. However, at such a long distance, it doesn't make much difference whether they revolve or not. In the real world, although Xianku has not fully recovered, there should be nothing that can stump him. However, once he needs to take action, it may still drag down his injuries. In this case, it would be a waste to leave such a healthy and powerful ally like the leader unused. This is the real purpose of finding the leader. He can be used as a thug when needed. With the friendship between the two families, this little thing is not a big deal. It's not even worth asking for an appearance fee. Unless the other party is very powerful, then you have to pay more. The head of the family, captain, the other party sent a communication signal to us, do you want to connect? The Xian family members on the console are obviously not used to this kind of thing. He was still a little confused about encountering aliens. Connected Xianku didn't think it was shameful. There were more shameful things, such as the fact that the leader already knew that he was seriously injured and dying. That was nothing. 3 lizard-shaped aliens appeared on the screen. They were all wearing spacesuits with a sense of technology. They should be considered humanoid creatures, with 2 arms, 2 legs and a head, but with an extra tail. You can tell from their appearance that they evolved from reptiles. And it was obvious that they had studied the language of Pangustar. The leader probably used a translator and spoke Chinese. Hello, Pangustarman, please allow me to introduce myself for the first time we meet. I am the 17th heir of the Scarface family of the Crazy Dragon Galaxy, and the Sir of the Double Fork Scarface. May I ask who you are? Xianku was about to give a pretentious answer. Xiaoming took the initiative to step forward and stood in front of the captain. Is this the rhythm of trying to seize power? If it were someone else, he would definitely be furious. However, the relationship between the Xian family and the leader is already very close. From Xianku, Xian Shui, to Xian Ping, none of them showed any displeasure, and even fully cooperated. They all said nothing, and their expressions were solemn. As if things were supposed to be this way. You entered our star system without permission, which is an illegal act of smuggling. I order you to evacuate immediately, and we can forgive you for what happened. The leader's words made the faces of the people on both sides change drastically. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1323. After hearing what Zhang Xiaoming said, both parties were shocked, and even the question in their minds was exactly the same, how did you know that? This involves the high-level management structure between civilizations in the real universe. The 3 families of Wan Baijian, the 3 major forces of Tianting Hefu Longgong, all have white gloves in the real universe. In addition to these 3 families, there are some other forces that are more or less affecting the order of the universe. Regarding the issue of this group of lizard people smuggling, only one of them is currently involved, and it is not one of the 3 families of Wan Baijian. It is a force that Xiaoming knew before. Remember? When Zhang Xiaoming just became a reincarnation, 5 people came uninvited to Xiaoming's house to cosplay and play mahjong. They are Zhang Shizu, the S-class zombie ancestor representing the League of Legends, He Vuchang, the B-class underworld official who was Zhang Shizu's follower at the time. Turtle Hermit, who calls himself King 8, representing the A-class reincarnation of the Loose Cultivator Alliance, and Mengan, the A-class reincarnation representing the new Han military. The last one is the octopus alien from the so-called Interstellar Embassy. Xiaoming believes that Kraken and he should be of the same race. 40 years ago, the reason why Kraken went to Pangustar to do his graduation internship was probably because there was such a fellow race nearby. Interstellar Embassy is just a common name, and the real name in Chinese should be Pan-Universe Teleportation Network Management Center. At the beginning, through the introduction of my master Acha, Xiaoming learned that the power of the space gem/Tai Chi diagram was used to build a pan-universe transmission network. With the power of the space gem, creatures or objects can be teleported instantly within the range covered by the network. Around this network, some of the more powerful races in the universe united to establish a management center. There is no need to apply or report for space transmission within a node. But if you want to transmit across nodes, you must report to the management center. Otherwise, it will be regarded as smuggling and will be punished by the Interstellar Embassy. This Interstellar Embassy took the initiative to contact the New Han Kingdom. At present, the New Han Kingdom is considered to represent Pangostar and is in the stage of being observed. If it officially joins in the future, it will also send officials to the Interstellar Embassy. Not yet. This group of aliens has ulterior motives, and they naturally used the method of smuggling when they came. They did not get the approval of the Interstellar Embassy. Because it was smuggling, they could not directly teleport the spacecraft into the interior of the solar system, but only to the area outside the Oort Nebula. Then they will use the speed of the spacecraft to fly into the solar system and arrive at Pangostar. It will be faster to use the transmission network for instant movement within the node. But their spacecraft is smuggling, and they are also worried that it will arouse the vigilance of the Interstellar Embassy. It's better to be slower. Unexpectedly, during the flight, they detected the existence of Shannon No. 2. This immigration spacecraft seems to be quite advanced. This is inconsistent with the information that the aliens originally knew. They naturally didn't know that Shannon 2 was brought out from the world of reincarnation, and it did not represent the current technological level of Pangostar. This opportunity was too rare. Since the two sides were not far away, this group of aliens wanted to test the true strength of Pangostar through Shannon 2. It would be best to take down Shannon 2 for careful study, and interrogate the passengers, so that they could have a clearer understanding of Pangostar. This is also their good luck. Shannon 2 also drove beyond the ultra cloud. Let them encounter it first. If they continue to go deeper, they can indeed rely on the means originally prepared to avoid the detection network of the Interstellar Embassy. But they will definitely encounter another layer of defense system in the Kuiper Belt. That is the defense set up by the top reincarnations of Pangostar for the solar system. Reincarnations are the extension of the power of Qingxinglu. This is the real defense force of Pangostar. In terms of strength, reincarnations are much stronger than the space army of the New Han Kingdom. It is equivalent to the existence of Camartage of Master Guyi. In layman's terms, the Interstellar Embassy is on the 3rd floor, and the reincarnationists are at least on the 7th floor. Once these alien spaceships are discovered by them, they will definitely be like throwing meat buns at dogs, and there will be no return. These stowaways are not very clear about the strength of the reincarnationists, and they are even more ignorant of the Pangostar reincarnationists. Otherwise, they would not take the initiative to come to the door to fight. The underworld and the heavenly court are unwilling to deal with such a trivial matter. It does not conform to their philosophy. Of course, if there are civil servants from the two families of Pangostar who are willing to protect their homes as individuals, they will definitely not stop them. In fact, there are many such civil servants. There are the King of Hell and the Judge, and there are also heavenly soldiers and generals, but they have not set up the defense circle as far as the Kuiper Belt. It is easy for any of these forces to deal with these 5 alien spaceships. Besides, even if the reincarnationists let these spaceships enter the Kuiper Belt, they still have a great possibility of encountering the New Han Kingdom Space Army. It is not easy to say whether the Space Army will win or lose against this group of aliens. In terms of the combat effectiveness of spacecraft and the quality of soldiers, the New Han Space Army is more than 2 points behind its opponent. However, in terms of numbers, the Space Army still has more. The Space Army has an unlimited supply of unmanned fighter jets remotely operated by humans, but if they just put together a few hundred, they can still have at least 1,000 or 800. This is called quality is not enough, quantity makes up, and spite elephants to death. Fighting these aliens will eventually win. After the long-term confrontation between the Space Army and the Zerg in the Chu galaxy, the technology of the new Han Kingdom in this area is still quite good. The only problem is that the other party has high-tech anti-reconnaissance means. Any technological civilization that has entered the universe has such means. If those aliens are cautious enough and use those means in advance, they can indeed step on the surface of Pangustar quietly without the new Han Kingdom Space Army noticing. Then, it is not necessarily because they provoked a local force or a civil servant. All members are explained here. There are many masters and strong people on Pangustar. Even if these guys start the strongest mecha, it will be in vain. It's like a 3-year-old child holding gold and swaggering through the city. It is completely a trek through thousands of mountains and rivers to come to Pangustar to give a big gift. The fate of this group of aliens has long been doomed, that is, they will be eaten up and wiped out, leaving nothing behind. The only difference is who eats it. The fact that they were able to encounter Sheneng 2 outside the Ultra Nebula was not because of the good luck of this group of aliens, but because of the great luck of Zhang Xiaoming and the Shen family. The Shen family, who is responsible for the Sheneng project, is going to carry out the work of alien immigration. If they can eat the spacecraft and technology of this group of aliens, it will have an immeasurable effect on the development of the Sheneng project. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1324. No matter from which angle, what Xiaoming should do now is to take down this group of aliens directly and take everything from them. Why did Xiaoming still tell them, as long as they retreat, we will let bygones be bygones? Is he so careless? This is not a lie. If the aliens really retreat, Xiaoming will indeed let them go. At his level, there is rarely any need to tell lies. The reason is that the arrival of this group of aliens has a lot to do with Xiaoming. He bears a certain cause and effect. Although the two spacecrafts are facing each other in space on the surface, in fact, Xiaoming started scanning at the first time. There are about 800 to 900 Lizardman crew members on the other side's 5 spacecrafts, and the one with the highest combat power level can only barely reach the lower level of D. And they are purely good in physical fitness. These Lizardmen have almost never practiced any supernatural energy. Only the leader, the double fork-scarred lord, has a little bit of magic power in his body, but it is very rare. And it is not cultivated by himself. He has no control over his own magic power, and it is hard to say where it comes from. There are all kinds of things in the world. The Lizardmen themselves are not strong, but these 5 spaceships are not weak. 3 of them are combat spaceships, equipped with many energy weapons and energy shields. And among the 5 spaceships, there are 7 combat mechas used in space battles. The mechas look roughly the same as the Lizardmen. They are ferocious. If they drive mechas, their combat power should be sea level. However, the technology side and the magic side are good at different things, so it is hard to say how strong they are. Among them, 6 dark green ones are ordinary models that are mass-produced at a glance. One is a yellow and green pattern, which is much more fancy. It may be the vehicle of the double fork-scarred lizard. It is a little stronger. The other 2 spaceships, one is a communication ship and the other is a supply ship. It seems that they have considered the possibility of a protracted war and made full preparations. At this moment, Xiaoming thought of a very pretentious sentence, "You know nothing about power." Without the aliens noticing, Xiaoming had already sent out 6-7 stars shadow clones, dozens of ghost shadow clones, and a large number of parasites to sneak into 5 spaceships. With their body movements, even if they were not wearing invisible suits, these aliens could not see them. With just one order, they could immediately control everything. All this happened before Xiaoming spoke. The Seven Stars Shadow clones were close to Sir Double Scarface, and they knew each other's inner thoughts through telepathy. It turned out that the problem was with the several hacker energy blocks that Xiao Ming traded through Kraken. Sir Double Scarface actually did not see these energy blocks, but just heard the news. As the 17th heir to the family, he had a strong ambition to climb up. He felt that this was an opportunity. So, after careful inquiry, he heard that it came from the Pangu Galaxy, a technologically backward galaxy, and had not yet officially joined the Pan-Universe Transmission Network Management Center. The mind of Double Scarface became active. This is a fat sheep. If he can sneak into Pangu Star and get the source of energy blocks, this source of money will belong to him. Then his status in the family will definitely rise, and he is expected to climb to the 11th or 12th place. It depends on the output and cost of energy blocks. He did not consider normal transactions at all on this trip. What he brought directly to Pangu Galaxy was his combat team. This behavior is an out-and-out space pirate behavior. It is quite common in some unstable areas in the universe. The Crazy Dragon Galaxy is one of them. All major families and major forces have their own space pirate groups, regular troops, and even merchants. When needed, they will occasionally play the role of pirates. This situation is similar to the situation of European countries in the Age of Discovery in the history of the Earth. There is no such history on Pangu Star. Sea power has always been firmly controlled by the Chinese countries. Even during the World War, other countries were not allowed to set foot in the sea. Xiao Ming saw it clearly at a glance. The simple-minded guy with double forks and scars was probably used by others. Some high-level forces are interested in hacker energy blocks and want to test the defense power of Pangu Galaxy. But they are not ignorant of power. So they don't do it themselves, but secretly release the news to trick this brainless boy into being the first to come forward. If the test is successful, this boy really brings back energy blocks and even production lines, then his wish can indeed be realized, and the high-level officials don't care about that little reward at all. If the test fails, then the double-forked Scarface and his pirate team are cannon fodder. The high-level officials can completely distance themselves from the relationship. They can also use this to understand the strength of Pangu Star. Xiao Ming pondered for a while, and this kind of thing seemed familiar. It seems that no matter where the politicians are, they have this kind of skill to get things done quietly without getting their hands dirty. Of course, Xiao Ming doesn't care much. This method is useless for the underworld. The soul gem can see every thought of a person. The sins of those behind the scenes are even greater than the sins of the double-forked Scarface who was used by others in the front. It was precisely because this guy was being used that Xiao Ming offered to let him go. Of course, Scarface also became a space pirate out of his own will. No one forced him, so he was not innocent at all. Xiao Ming just gave a little reminder, and that was it. He probably wouldn't surrender. Unless Xiao Ming showed his great strength first and scared him away. However, Xiao Ming's service was not so thoughtful. He just gave him a chance. As expected, the double-forked scarred man was furious. In such a short time, he had already started the instrument to conduct a rough scan of the Sheneng 2 spacecraft. It was roughly found that this was not a warship. Although there were energy weapons and shields, the power and quantity were completely insufficient. It was obviously for emergency use. Such a fat sheep dared to talk nonsense to himself, which was really intolerable for both uncle and aunt. He roared loudly, as if he had issued a battle order. Then he fell to the ground. Then, all the lizardmen on the 5 spacecraft fell to the ground one after another. Seeing this, Xin Shui and Xin Ping were full of question marks. What kind of way is this horse? Could it be that these lizardmen have different customs and regard falling asleep quickly as the highest goal of their race? So he is showing his ability to fall asleep? Haha, you can tell it's impossible even if you use your knees to think. It's probably either Captain Xin Ku or the leader. The latter is more likely. Sure enough, the leader's clone appeared in the light curtain. The 7 stars shadow clone is nothing, but the ghost clone is wearing a dark robe, which makes the XIN family members secretly shocked. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1325. In fact, the quality of the underworld clothes is also different. The underworld clothes of Tiangang Star and Dasha Star are definitely much better than the underworld clothes of ordinary ghost clones. Even so, the underworld clothes are too big. And the act of wearing underworld clothes for ordinary clones is too wasteful. This financial resource can shock the top forces of Pangu Star. Not to mention the XIN family. Their family has not yet obtained a powerful battle suit. The death suit of the god of death is still much worse than the saint clothes and underworld clothes in the world of Saint Seiya. Xiaoming always thinks that the name death suit is not well chosen. It is very similar to the clothes you wear when you go for spa. However, the top forces of Pangu Star all know Zhang Xiaoming's identity as a civil servant in the underworld, and the underworld clothes can also be related to the underworld. If they see this scene, they will certainly be a little shocked, and they will accept it more smoothly than the XIN family. In Xiaoming's opinion, XIN Ku should have secretly said something to his daughter in some hidden way. Xiaoming was too embarrassed to investigate, so he probably asked XIN Shui to inquire about it in his spare time. If there were really so many free underworld clothes, the XIN family wouldn't mind buying some at a high price. Even ordinary underworld clothes can provide good protection for low-level subordinates. This is very good for training subordinates. On the contrary, masters like XIN Ku and XIN Shui don't need such low-level underworld clothes. These things can be done slowly. The most important thing now is the Lizard Man's spaceship and captives. Butler XIN Ping stayed in Chenan No. 2, while XIN Ku and XIN Shui took 2 subordinates and drove the small spaceship on Chenan No. 2 with Huang Xiaoming to the alien spaceship. It took only a few minutes to fly there, but in these few minutes, XIN Ku and Xiaoming had already discussed how to divide the spoils. It's very simple, half when you meet, and everyone will add 50% of the spoils. If it's something that can't be divided, then the XIN family will buy it from Xiaoming with money or resources. Some people may think this is unfair. Xiaoming did all the fighting. Why should the XIN family take 50%? This is because they don't understand the market. First, the reason why these lizardmen took the initiative to come over for communication was entirely because Chenan No. 2 became a bait. Otherwise, everyone would have passed by, and the XIN family made great contributions. Second, what Xiaoming did, XIN Ku could also do it. As an S-level master, this little thing is not difficult for him. People watched Xiaoming perform and did not take the initiative to steal the show, which is also a matter of face. To be honest, XIN Ku just didn't notify Xiaoming, and there is nothing wrong with that. So Xiaoming must accept this favor. Dealing with aliens is a piece of cake for everyone, so it's hard to say who contributed more. Equal distribution is actually very fair. Many spoils of war cannot be evenly distributed. For example, there are 5 spaceships, which is an odd number. If broken down by type, there are still 3 small warships, 1 communication ship, and 1 supply ship, all of which are odd numbers. There are also 7 space mechas, and the ordinary models can be divided into 3 each, and the fancy one also requires the XIN family to pay for half. In addition, there are the most important captives. To use these spaceships and mechas, the XIN family is now seriously short of manpower. Everyone is in the hibernation chamber, and they cannot be woken up in advance. So the XIN family needs these lizardmen very much. Otherwise, these spaceships and mechas cannot be used. And Xiaoming has almost no demand for these things. As for spaceships, Xiaoming has plenty of them. He brought back n small spaceships from the world of Star Wars. They are much stronger than these few. As for mechas, there are not many in the world of Star Wars. But Xiao Ming can survive in space and does not need mechas to protect himself or improve his combat effectiveness. Besides, Xiao Ming now has the ability to transform into EVA Unit 3. He himself is a mecha. Why do we need such a low-power mecha? There is no need to capture Xiao Ming. He has a large number of clones and mind beasts. There are also subordinates such as Zerg, Zergman, Protoss, Yokai, Genosian Zergman, and so on. Therefore, Xiao Ming bargained with Xianku and sold all the things at half price. He only kept a small battleship and an ordinary mecha for show. As for the lizard captives, he didn't want any of them. And even the battleships and mechas that belonged to Xiao Ming had to be stored on Sheneng too. The Xian family was also allowed to rent them at will. Xianku and Xian Shui were very grateful for the generosity of the leader. The old father looked at his daughter with a look of relief. It's true that heroes can't resist the beauty. His daughter is so charming, just like her father. The leader is willing to give up such a big benefit for her. In addition to this reason, Xianku really can't think of anything else. The leader is a man of super strength and good character, and he is indeed a good match for his daughter. He is also very satisfied. Once Xianku regards himself as an old father-in-law, his attitude towards the leader is obviously different. Xiao Ming is a little confused. They just came to take a look and mix these spacecraft with Sheneng 2 into a fleet. The 5 alien spacecrafts are temporarily driven by Xiao Ming's clone, accompanied by the subordinates of the Xian family. Continue to move towards the original destination, Wolf 359 Galaxy. Regarding this matter, Xianku wanted to report to Pangu Star. Not for anything else, just to piss off those who secretly messed up the Xian family and the Sheneng plan. Good will be rewarded with good, and evil will be punished with evil. Look, even if you cause so much trouble to our Xian family, we can pick up money on the route. Let you envy, jealous and hate. But he changed his mind and thought that it was better not to expose such things. The best way is to make a fortune quietly. If those bad guys knew about this, I'm afraid they would do something weird again. The Xian family can't afford a heavier blow. Xiao Ming thought about it and said another point of view. In Xianku's heirs, it was the son-in-law's advice to his father-in-law. Captain, father-in-law, this matter cannot be concealed. You should know about the interstellar embassy, right? Xianku nodded, and seemed to understand a little. Among these lizardmen, there is a knight or the 17th heir. His family is unlikely to let him disappear. They want to see him alive or dead. Although smuggling is wrong, they should be allowed to redeem him. They may contact the interstellar embassy. The embassy must contact the top leaders of the New Han Kingdom, and then. You are right, we should still report it. Xianku agreed, but there is no need to tell the truth about the spoils, ha ha ha. As a captain, you should be dignified and not admit your mistakes easily. As long as you are not too wrong, you should continue to stick to your choice. However, as a father-in-law, Xianku easily accepted the opinions of his future son-in-law. No matter who sees him, they will not think that he has lost his dignity. When Xiao Ming himself did not understand it very well, almost everyone in the Xian family treated him as a son-in-law. They did not know that the leader could leave at any time, and the only one who could match the leader on this spaceship was Xian Shui. There was almost no doubt about this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1326. In fact, even if Huang Xiaoming didn't remind them, the Xian family would figure it out in 2 or 3 hours at most. During the immigration process, they captured smuggled aliens in the outer solar system. Such a major matter could not be concealed at all, and they had to report it to the New Han Kingdom. Although Captain Xianku was impulsive and adventurous, he was the man who had raised the Xian family from a small family to the top of a medium-sized family. His political and diplomatic abilities were relatively strong. In addition, Xianping was also a shrewd guy, so they certainly understood the priorities. Xiaoming didn't need to do anything for the next business, the Xian family would naturally handle it. This time they had a great harvest. The smiles on everyone's faces couldn't be stopped at all. Spaceships and mechas with space combat capabilities were very much needed by a group migrating to an alien planet. You know, the New Han Kingdom only had a few plans for immigration, such as the Yanhuang Rise plan and the Sheneng plan. Even if they migrate, the target is the closest galaxy. The target of the Sheneng plan is Wolf 359, which is 7.7 light-years away from Pangu, which is already the farthest target. The main reason is the lack of truly formed space combat power. The New Han Kingdom's space army is basically only capable of fighting within the galaxy. So they can only migrate to planets that are closer, because the chance of encountering high-tech aliens is very, very small. Moreover, each immigration plan must be hosted by at least one S-level master. With this kind of strength, even if they encounter high-tech aliens, they can still not lose out. When the aliens see such a strong individual, they dare not go too far. To put it more darkly, even if the S-level master cannot protect the immigrant group, he can always protect himself. Even if the immigrant spaceship is cleaned up by aliens, there is a great chance that the reincarnation can mix in with the aliens. Whether he hides himself or surrenders voluntarily, he can open up the horizons for Pangu Star. Get more information about aliens. Of course, no one dares to guarantee how strong the aliens are. Maybe they practice both magic and martial arts, and attach equal importance to technology and supernatural energy. Therefore, the S-level masters who presided over the immigration plan were not resting on their laurels. It can only be said that opportunities and dangers coexist. Those who participated were all adventurous guys like Xianku. Sheneng 2 obtained these 4 alien spaceships, and its own safety was better guaranteed. And it could start climbing the technology tree. Pangu Star civilization, because it has not officially joined the Interstellar Embassy, cannot formally communicate with other alien intelligent races. In terms of technology, it can only explore on its own. Occasionally, it can get something that is exposed from the reincarnation space. In addition, the New Han Kingdom has a high-tech spaceship from the alien race to study. Therefore, the batch of alien spaceships obtained by Sheneng 2 are of high value. Apart from other things, the language translator alone is an incredible good thing. The first choice of the New Han Kingdom's top leaders is probably to hope that the Xian family can give up these spaceships and captives and let them fly back to the inner solar system. But the Xian family will definitely not agree to this proposal. No matter how much benefit is given, Xianku will not agree. We can only settle for the next best thing, joint development and sharing of results. The negotiations and exchange of interests in the middle will probably take a long time, and Xiaoming has no interest in participating at all. The Shen family also needs to interrogate the captured aliens, and the translator plays a huge role. Otherwise, we are really in the dark. But how can we ensure that the aliens will tell the truth? The Shen family finally showed one of their trump cards, Life and Death Talisman. The Life and Death Talisman is a hidden weapon used by Tianshan Tonglao, the master of the Lingju Palace of the Xiaoao sect in the demigods and semi-devils. Using liquids such as wine and water, reverse the true qi, turn the masculine qi into feminine, make the true qi emitted from the palm several times colder than ice, and the liquid in the hand will naturally condense into ice. Those who are infected cannot live or die, and are controlled by others, so it is called Life and Death Talisman. You must take the antidote made by Tianshan Tonglao. The life and death talisman certified by space is effective for most humanoid carbon-based life. Although the crazy dragons have advanced technology, they are powerless to resist the life and death talisman. Soon, they all became obedient. Among these captives, only one person is truly valuable, that is, Sir Double Fork Scarface. The Scarface family will not redeem the others at all. It is not worth wasting so much money and resources on those trash. Because, to teleport these people back, the equipment of the interstellar embassy is needed, which is too expensive even without the ransom. Unless Pangustar is willing to let the Scarface family redeem the spacecraft. The spacecraft has a space jump engine. It can use the Pan-Universe transmission network. This is more cost-effective. However, the Scarface family knows very well that Pangustar will never let go of any spacecraft. There is no need to ask for it, and it is even more embarrassing to be rejected. In fact, if it were not for the title of the 17th heir, which is related to the family's face, the crazy dragon family might even give up Double Fork Scarface. So the New Han Kingdom should not think about asking for a high price. This situation is exactly what the Shen family wants. So many aliens controlled by the life and death talisman can greatly enhance their strength. Since they were abandoned by the crazy dragon family, I believe they don't have much loyalty. This is indeed the case. These lizardmen have helped the Shen family a lot, but that's a story for later. Xi and Ku actually had the ability of life and death talisman, which made Xiaoming amazed. At the same time, he was a little confused. In theory, in the game Martial Arts Planet, the secret realm that the Xian family mainly attacked was Tianlongbabu. It is not surprising that there are products in this secret realm. But that is the life and death talisman. It is extremely difficult to obtain the life and death talisman in Tianlongbabu. That strength is basically equivalent to the ceiling of the secret realm. Xian Ping has always told himself that the Xian family is not advancing fast in the secret realm. Xiaoming saw clearly that he was not lying. So what is the matter with this life and death talisman? Xian Ku dispelled Xiaoming's doubts in one sentence. The life and death talisman comes from the reincarnation space. Before being seriously injured, the head of the Xian family entered the mission world of Tianlongbabu once. Although the S-level strength was suppressed by the space. But he still got a lot of spoils from that world. The life and death talisman is one of them. It is because he got a lot of good things in Tianlongbabu that the Xian family chose to take the Tianlongbabu secret realm as the main target. Make full use of every resource. Of course, Xian Ku also underestimated the Tianlongbabu secret realm. The martial arts here are too high. The Xian family did not make good progress in this secret realm. Even with the life and death talisman, Xian Ku himself did not practice internal strength and could not use the life and death talisman in the secret realm. The same is true for some other martial arts. This once made Xian Ku quite frustrated. Until now. It is really a case of losing something in one corner and gaining something in another. In reality, although there is no internal strength, you can use the resources of the space to use the life and death talisman. What good luck! Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1327. Are you sure? Master. These things you want are really useless except in the game. Captain Xian Ku felt that his future son-in-law was a little unreliable, and couldn't help but persuade him earnestly. Xiaoming naturally answered firmly, Captain Xian, I am very sure that it is not useless. You have used it? Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk, whatever you want. I will give you some more things. It depends on your luck. Xian Ku responded helplessly. Suddenly he thought of something and sighed, tisk tisk, no wonder you can play through the legend of the Condor heroes and the white horse roars in the west wind. You put all your thoughts on this. It turned out that Xiaoming saw Xianku using the life and death talisman to subdue the lizard man, and he was very envious. If he learned this skill, wouldn't he have another magic weapon to win in the secret realms of the martial arts planet game in the future? It just so happened that the Xian family needed to pay the master to buy the lizard man's spaceship, mecha, and prisoners. Xiaoming took the opportunity to propose to exchange it with the life and death talisman. Xianku didn't quite agree. It's not that he was reluctant, but he felt that Xiaoming shouldn't waste his energy on this. We know that Xianku's strength is not in martial arts, and he was able to learn the life and death talisman entirely by relying on the inculcation of the reincarnation space. Every time he used the life and death talisman, he consumed internal energy, and he also needed to buy it from the space. Of course, Xianku didn't want to stay like this, it was too bad. He also wanted to practice an internal skill. However, he encountered the same problem as Xiaoming when he practiced martial arts, that is, other supernatural energies were too strong, which made it impossible for him to concentrate on practicing internal skills in reality. He could only rely on encountering a reincarnation world with martial arts and suppressing other supernatural energies to give him time to practice. But how many days would that be? And there were still tasks to be done, so practice was naturally always intermittent. There was no result for a long time. Before, when he was seriously injured, he had no ability to practice. Xianku almost gave up. Now that the leader suddenly asked to learn the life and death talisman, he felt that his future son-in-law seemed to be following his old path. As the prospective father-in-law, of course he had to persuade him. But it was obvious that the leader was very determined. He had no choice but to agree. Captain Xianku didn't think the leader could learn it. Because Xianku learned it through the indoctrination of the reincarnation space. As for the martial arts secrets such as the life and death talisman, he memorized the entire text before using it. S-level masters still have the ability to remember everything in a short period of time. After that, he copied down these martial arts secrets and let the subordinates of the Xian family observe and learn. Unfortunately, the strengths of the Xian family are not in martial arts. There are only some low-level applied martial arts moves, and the Shen family can learn a few moves. Once it comes to advanced internal force transfer and other skills, it is difficult for the Shen family to understand, not to mention the life and death talisman, which requires extremely deep internal strength. Xianku didn't have any extra secrets produced by the space, so the leader could only read these books. Therefore, Xianku didn't think the leader could really learn it. The value of the life and death talisman secret book produced by the space is still not low. After all, in a world where the energy limit is not very high, the life and death talisman can play a big role. However, the secret book that Xianku copied silently by himself is not valuable. A life and death talisman is not worth the price of so many good things. So, Xianku took the initiative to give several handwritten copies of martial arts. The Xian family really has some of this kind of thing. Xiaoming was a little embarrassed, but his future father-in-law was really enthusiastic and forced Xiaoming to have 10 copies of the secret book. He thought it was going to be a waste of money, and giving more copies was hoping that the leader would cast a wide net, just in case one of them was learned. If it really doesn't work, you can still take it out and exchange it with others. Xianku didn't know that with Xiaoming's deep internal strength, he would soon learn all these martial arts. Xiaoming even gave copies of his subordinates, the insect human and Zhu Xingxiu and other special forces, so that they could also learn. It's not just Xianku who can cast a wide net. It is hard to say what the qualifications of these guys are, so let's learn as much as we can. As for Xiaoming himself, except for 2 martial arts that were too low level and were given up, he practiced all the other 8 martial arts. It was just a matter of letting a group of ghost avatars practice, which did not take much effort. The 8 martial arts that Xiaoming learned were, Life and Death Talisman, Vajra subduing circle, great movement body technique, Vajra indestructible divine art, Arhat fist, powerful Vajra palm, clear and quiet finger, and dragon claw hand. Except for the life and death talisman, all of them were from the 72 Shaolin Kung Fu. Xiao Ming deeply suspected that Xianku might have robbed Jimazai. The Vajra subduing circle is a formation shared by 3 people, which is very suitable for the Jiangnan 7 freaks. When 7 people get together, they use the Big Dipper formation, and when there are only 3 people, they use the Vajra subduing circle. The great movement body technique, without moving the feet or the body, can move the body several feet on the ground to avoid the enemy's attack. It is very suitable for pretending to be stupid. The Vajra indestructible divine art is even more awesome, greatly enhancing one's own defense. After Xiao Ming learned it, he no longer worried about being attacked in the secret realm. Luhan fist, Vajra palm, clear finger, dragon claw hand, these are all kung fu used when fighting with others, and the moves are not very complicated, which is most suitable for a guy like Xiao Ming who is not very smart. Xiao Ming has read Jin Dada's works and knows that there is a problem with the 72 Shaolin Kung Fu, which is the so-called martial arts barrier. When practicing any Shaolin Kung Fu, you need to have a compassionate and kind mind. If you don't base it on Buddhism, practicing martial arts will definitely hurt yourself. The deeper the Kung Fu is practiced, the more serious the injury will be. If what you practice is just the external martial arts of punching, kicking, weapons and hidden weapons, then it's fine, it will do little harm to yourself, as long as you are strong, you can resist it. But if you practice superior martial arts, such as the flower-picking finger and the prajna palm, and do not use compassionate Buddhist teachings to reconcile and resolve it every day, the evil spirit will penetrate deep into the internal organs, becoming more and more hidden, and it is 100 times more powerful than any external poison. In the original work, Xiao Yuanshan, Murongbo, and Jimazai all suffered this kind of harm. Among them, Jimazai, who practiced all 72 unique skills, suffered the most serious damage. Jimazai's Xiao Wuxiang magic skill can replace Shaolin internal skills and apply all 72 unique skills. It's just that the subtle details are somewhat specious. And Xiao Ming's Changsheng Ju is above Xiao Wuxiang magic skill. It can not only be used to use unique skills, but also to repair the damage suffered by oneself. The advantage is greater. Moreover, although Xiao Ming is not a Buddhist, he is the Hades, and his compassion is actually more than that of a high monk. The damage to Xiao Ming from practicing Shaolin martial arts is very low. It should be said that there is no damage at all in reality, there is a little damage in the secret realm, but the Changsheng Ju can easily make up for it. He couldn't help but feel a little sorry that Xianku's work of robbing Jimazai was not thorough. It would be better if he could rob all 72 unique skills. This guy is greedy again. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1328. Xiao Ming can withstand the damage of Shaolin's 72 unique skills, but that doesn't mean others can. So Nanziren, who returned to the secret realm of the legend of the Condor heroes, only taught the Vajra subduing demon circle to his 3 brothers, and forgot about the others. The life and death talisman is a skill that Ke Zhenyi and others are not able to perform. This skill is too torturous, and Xiao Ming doesn't want to spread it. Hong Qigong and the old boy have to stay on the island to recuperate. Nanziren plans to stay on the island to take care of and protect them. But he was driven out by Hong Qigong. Hurry up and go to the headquarters of the beggars sect to take over as the leader. Those beggars need you. On Peach Blossom Island, with Huang Laoxi here, who can hurt me? This is true. The only one who can cause harm is Wang Feng, the Western Poison. He has returned to the Central Plains. It is indeed safer here. Cajun Wu also slammed his iron rod on the ground and shouted, "Fourth brother, go ahead. The 3 of us will stay. Anyone who wants to hurt Qigong will have to step over our bodies." When others say this, they usually just mean it and pretend to be heroic. But Jinwoo is a straightforward person. If he says this, he really intends to do it. Nanziren can also understand his elder brother. People in the martial arts world fight and kill, and lick blood on the edge of a knife. What they want is nothing more than a reputation. It is such a face-saving thing for the fourth of the 7 freaks of Jiangnan to take over as the leader of the beggars section. As the eldest brother of the 7 freaks of Jiangnan, Jinwoo will have no face to tell others about it in the future. So, Nanziren had to bid farewell to his brothers and sail away from Peach Blossom Island. He left the island with Guojing and Huangrong, the 2 boys, and Mei Chaofeng, the enemy of the 7 freaks of Jiangnan. She regarded the 7 freaks of Jiangnan as her mortal enemy, and the 7 freaks of Jiangnan had forgotten her. Killing Chen Xianfeng and blinding Mei Chaofeng, Jinwoo's revenge has been avenged. The 7 freaks of Jiangnan had not planned to kill a blind girl. Now that the 7 freaks of Jiangnan and Peach Blossom Island have become relatives, and Mei Chaofeng is under the control of Huang Yaoshi, she basically has no hope of revenge. Besides, the martial arts of any of the 7 freaks of Jiangnan are not inferior to Mei Chaofeng, and Nanziren is far superior, so her chance of revenge is very slim. A few days ago, Huang Yaoshi took Mei Chaofeng out of the house to find his daughter. She has worked hard even if she has no merit. Dong Xie couldn't bear to kill this apprentice. There was no point in wasting food by locking her on the island, so Huang Yaoshi gave Mei Chaofeng the bone attachment needle and sent her out of Peach Blossom Island to find Chu Lingfeng and Feng Mofeng. This was what Huang Yaoshi and Nanziren agreed to do at Giun Manor. Nanziren was going to treat the leg injuries of several of Huang Yaoshi's apprentices. He also used 3 unique skills as a reward. If Lu Changfeng hadn't known that Wu Mianfeng was dead, Xiaoming might have gotten another unique skill. Along the way, Mei Chaofeng kept silent, her nerves tense. This made Nanziren, Guojing, and Huangrong very uncomfortable. The 2 of them came out to help Nanziren, and they had a lot to say. But with the atmosphere on the boat, it was difficult to talk, so they had to practice martial arts to get through it. The reason why Mei Chaofeng was so nervous was because the bone-attaching needle was deep into the flesh and firmly nailed into the joints of the bones. The needle was fed with poison, and the drug's properties took effect slowly. 6 times a day, it ran through the blood vessels, making people experience all kinds of unspeakable severe pain. It would not die immediately, and it would take 1 or 2 years to torture people to take their lives. People with good martial arts skills would use their martial arts to resist, but the more they resisted, the more pain they suffered, and the more severe the pain they suffered. Mei Chaofeng killed innocent people indiscriminately, and her hands were full of blood debts, which was also her own fault. Xiaoming did not pity her. Not only did he not want to help her, he was also unwilling to share some information. For example, Xiaoming knew that Chu Lingfeng was dead, but there was a child named Shagu who was living in Niojia village. If he could find Shagu, it would be a great achievement. But he didn't plan to tell Mei Chaofeng. After landing, Mei Chaofeng left. Xiaoming thought that according to the main plot, the next step would be the stage where Wanyan Hongli and others would make a scene in the Linen Palace. Guojing was injured by Wang Feng in order to protect Wu Mu's posthumous letter, which led to the wonderful stories of healing in the secret room of Niojia village. In this life, Wu Mu's posthumous letter has fallen into the hands of Nanziren, and now Guojing also has one in his hand. He should not need to take risks in the palace. But Xiaoming was still worried that the system might come up with other plots, forcing Guojing and Huangrong to go to the palace. After landing, he was always worried. Sure enough, within a few days, the group arrived near Linen. Little Huangrong said that she had never been to the palace since she was a child, and wanted to go there to play. Xiaoming was speechless for a while. With the martial arts of the 3 people, there was no danger in the Great Song Palace. The 4th master had no reason to refuse Xiaorong's legitimate and reasonable request. However, to be on the safe side, Xiaoming decided to go back and meet up with the other members of the Jiangnan Seven Freaks. With more people, it might be safer. The most important thing is to bring another disciple, Mu Nianzi, with him. Going back to the Beggars Sect headquarters will definitely lead to encountering Yang Taixin and Bao Ziruo. It would be a shame not to bring their daughter back. At this time, the real-world time has come to October 23rd, and Xiaoming should prepare to enter the next reincarnation mission. Next, let's change the perspective and talk about what Yin Xiaoming has done in the past 2 weeks. His story is mainly divided into 2 parts. They all happened in the Magic Planet game. One part is what happened in the main game, the other part is the secret realm of Hunter x Hunter. Let's talk about the secret realm first. With 10 years of training in the world of Star Wars 3, the new form of EVA Unit 3, and the powerful Kyber Crystal series of weapons, Xiaoming is relatively confident about fighting against the Chimera Ant King in the secret realm and saving his master Netero. He had experienced the plot of the Chimera Ants in the world of reincarnation. He roughly knew that this incident first happened in the NGL Autonomous Country. But in this life, Xiaoming dared not run over and kill the Chimera Ant Queen directly. What happened in the reincarnation space taught Xiaoming a big lesson. If the queen was killed directly, the game system would probably use the same method to revive the Chimera Ant Queen again with the power of the Nicaragua wishing machine. At that time, it is not certain where she will run to. Without a fixed location, it will be more difficult to find her. It is better to wait and see. In addition, Xiaoming remembered that when participating in the Chimera Ant Crusade in the world of reincarnation, it was because Kate died at the hands of Neferpitou that a series of tragedies happened later. In this life, he decided to follow Gon and Killua closely. Try to save Kate. Xiaoming's feelings towards Gon can only be said to be okay, but he doesn't like him particularly. But he doesn't want Gon to suffer as in the original book. Besides, Xiaoming likes Killua very much. This child from a killer family is surprisingly kind-hearted. The tragedy that happened to Gon must have hurt Killua a lot. For Killua and Gon, Xiaoming hopes to stop all this from happening. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1329. In the secret realm of Hunter x Hunter in the Magic Planet game, Xiaoming focused on the 2 protagonists, Gon and Killua, which led him to ignore another thing. Or a few other people, that is, the Bakuer team that he met in the NGL Autonomous Country. In the original work, they all died tragically at the hands of the Chimera Ant. In the reincarnation world that Xiaoming experienced, Xiaoming eliminated the Queen Ant in advance. Therefore, the Bakuer team did not encounter danger. Later, they met Xiaoming and received Xiaoming's guidance. Xiaoming did not expect that they would die at the hands of the Chimera Ant. After all, ordinary Chimera Ant soldiers could not do anything to the Bakuer team. When they saw that the situation was not right, they evacuated in time. Bakuer, a professional hunter, should be able to do it. Little did he know that Bakuer's personality was very strong and he would not admit defeat. He did not evacuate in time. Not only did he bring the entire team into the stomach of the Chimera Ant, but he also sent the knowledge about telekinesis. Bakuer suffered from his own actions, but the other members of the team were really innocent, especially Pen Si. She was a smart, cute, brave, and kind girl who died tragically at the hands of Chimera Ants, which became a pain in the hearts of many Hunter fans. Unfortunately, Xiaoming didn't know about this. At this time, the troublemakers in the game, the Bomb Demon and his gang, had been transformed into insect humans by Xiaoming, and stayed in Guangmingding with the Phantom Troop, Hisoka, and others, practicing hard for the Chimera Ant War. Xiaoji and others were struggling to pass the level. Originally, game players were all rushing for the bounty of the rich man Bartra. Bartra's goal was to save his girlfriend and make himself younger. These two wishes were fulfilled by the wood played by Xiao Ming. So Bartra gave all his property to Xiao Ming. Xiao Ming set up a charity foundation and gave it to Bartra and his wife to manage. At the same time, he did not cancel that bounty. 50 billion, the property that Bartra gave to the wood, can be said to be more than enough. Greed Island. There are indeed many very useful props in the game, and Xiao Ming is still quite envious. Especially Archangel's Breath and Witch's Rejuvenation Potion. These two cards are used to fulfill Bartra's wish. They are also very useful for the battle with Chimera ants. The Breath of the Archangel can be used to treat the dying President Netero, and the rejuvenating medicine can restore Netero to his peak strength. Unfortunately, in order to fulfill Bartra's wish, Xiao Ming violated the rules of Greed Island. According to the agreement between the two parties, Mutiu paid 50 billion and could no longer enter Greed Island. Xiao Ming could not go through the level himself, so he could only spend money to buy props. Even in a high-energy world like Hunter x Hunter, the money ability is still an almost invincible ability. I believe that Zetsuzera, Xiaogan, Killua, and others should be able to fulfill Xiao Ming's wish. Because the bounty is still there, the Zetsuzera team continues to play the game. Xiao Ming concentrated all these people's game consoles in Bartra's mansion and sent someone to guard it. He took the subordinates he had conquered for special training, especially to let them understand the combat effectiveness of Chimera ants. Many Seven Shadows clones simulated the Chimera ants that Xiao Ming had seen, showing the enemy's strength to the troop. Even Hisoka was moved after seeing the strength of the three guards, Yuppie, Aliapafu, and Neferpatu. No matter how arrogant he was, he knew that he was no match for these three. He couldn't help but intensify his practice. Those who felt the same as him were the powerful fighters in the Phantom Troop. On the one hand, they were surprised at the strength of the Chimera ants, and on the other hand, they were excited to challenge powerful opponents. Even the powerful Hunter Nob was frightened to insanity by the momentum of the three guards, but the Phantom Troop was unmoved. It was really impressive for the hunters. In fact, Xiao Ming could simulate the aura and telekinesis of the three guards, but he lacked the bloodthirsty and brutal feeling, which was why he couldn't scare people. Otherwise, the fighters might be able to hold on, but those auxiliary personnel couldn't. During this period, Xiao Ming was also working hard to improve an important telekinesis ability, that is, God's left hand, Devil's right hand from Kyubi. Kyubi's ability can only copy things for 24 hours. However, Xiao Ming's telekinesis is far superior to Kyubi's. Moreover, Xiao Ming also got the bonus of alchemy, and his ability can completely surpass Kyubi's original version. More importantly, Xiao Ming's other special ability, Death of Friend, not of Poor Deist, requires this copying ability. The ability of Death of Friend, not of Poor Deist, is used to save the life of President Netero. In order to fight the Chimera Ant King, President Netero must use his original tempered body to exert the strongest combat power. The copied body is used to save his life. Xiao Ming has even made the mental preparation to replace the president's body every 24 hours. However, now that there is still time, it would be better to upgrade the copying ability so that the copied body can last longer. With the addition of so many abilities, Xiao Ming successfully made the things he copied last and last forever. It is so powerful. However, the items copied by Kyubi have the function of a circle, under his own surveillance. Xiao Ming gave up this function in exchange for a longer maintenance time. Suddenly one day, the person guarding the game console came to report that Zetsuzera, Xiaoja, Killua, and Biscuit came out together, saying that they had something important to discuss with Mutiu. Xiao Ming hurried over. In the reception room, bounty hunter Zizazella was quite polite to his employer. Especially for such a powerful employer, Zizazella bowed his head and saluted. Xiaoja and Killua were different. They rushed over and started playing with Mewtwo. The three of them were of the same age. The two boys' telekinesis had improved again, but they were still not good enough to face S-level Mewtwo. Whether it was Zyuja's guessing game or Killua's electric shock, they could not break through Xiaoming's telekinesis protection. After a while, the two sides had enough fun and sat down to chat. After a few greetings, Biscuit hesitated and said, "Junior brother, we came to you to discuss something. Zyuja, you should say it." She was also a student of President Netero and a senior sister of Mewtwo, but she still felt unable to speak when the words came to her lips. Simply let Zyuja speak. After listening to Zyuja snickering, Xiaoming realized that they were almost clearing the level. The problem lies with the three designated pocket cards that can be taken out of the game. Gon, Killua, and Biscuit all have special needs and want the quota for these three cards. But this is equivalent to giving up the 50 billion bounty of Mewtwo. The key is that according to the agreement when obtaining one ping coastline, the three of them only have a share of 3 billion, and the other 45 billion is for Jwezijwila. In addition, Mewtwo and Golanu each have 1 billion. What should we do? Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1330. If Gon, Killua, and Biscuit want to get the card that should have belonged to Mew, they will not only have to give up their own bonus, but also pay the remuneration of Zizazella and Golanu. As for the 1 billion that Mew deserved, no one cared at all. But how could the three of them have 46 billion? After thinking about it, Gon decided to pass the blame to Mew, played by Yin Xiaoming. If Mew agreed to this, he would not only give up the card, but also spend a lot of money. This kind of greedy condition, if it were someone else, I guess they wouldn't even dare to think about it. How to ask? Only a guy like Gon who is ignorant of the world can be so shameless. Killua is completely dragged down by his good friends. Biscuit thinks that since you want to do this, then I'll take advantage of it. He. In fact, Gon is not just shameless and wants to take advantage of his friends. It's just that in his heart, everyone is a good friend, so naturally they should share what they have and stick together. Similarly, if Mewtwo and Killua have similar things, he is willing to do his best to help. This is Zyuja's innocent heart. There is no hypocrisy. Looking at Zyuja's sincere and innocent eyes, Xiaoming decided not to refuse immediately, but to ask. Zyuja, Killua, I originally had important plans for these cards, and I believe you are the same, so I want to know which cards you want? What do you plan to use them for? Killua hesitated to speak. He was hesitant whether he should say it in front of so many people. The main thing is whether to let Zizazella know. Zyuja, however, has nothing to hide. He doesn't care about this kind of thing at all. Straight to the point. Brother Mewtwo, I want a travel card to take you and Killua to meet my father. Introduce you to him. Xiaoming felt warm in his heart when he heard this. Zyuja really regarded himself as a friend, and he also took his friends to meet his parents. That's not right. What kind of friends need to be taken back to meet parents? Good friends, girlfriends. Why does this plot seem a bit crooked? Looking at Killua and Gon, Xiaoming suddenly felt that they were a good match. Then what was he? A mistress? Xiaoming quickly shook his head and pulled his wild donkey-like thoughts back on track. Gon was so innocent that he would never have such a ridiculous idea. It was obvious that there were too many dirty things in his mind. His father was the famous Jin Fulishi, the pig in the 12 zodiac signs. He was one of the 5 best nin users in the world of Hunter x Hunter. Xiaoming had heard of Jin's name, but he had only heard a little about the title of the 5 best nin users. He didn't know who else was there besides Jin. Just look at the game Greed Island developed by others, and you will know that Jin is absolutely worthy of the name. Xiaoming thinks it is worth it to have the opportunity to meet Jin. However, the reward of the game is 100 designated pocket cards numbered 0-99. Traveling this card is a spell card with the number 1039, and according to the rules of the game, it cannot be taken out of Greed Island. You need to use a spell card, number 1010 Mimicry, to turn the companion card into a designated pocket card. Then, you need to bring out another card number 84 Paladin's Jewelry. This card can remove the mimicry and restore the companion card to its original appearance. Finally, using the companion, everyone can go to Jin to play Mahjong. This is Xiaja's method. After going through such a big circle to achieve the goal, Xiaja seems to be stupid, but occasionally he uses his brain and it works quite well. Xiaoming approved this plan. But 2 of the 3 card quotas were also taken. The remaining quota belongs to Bisji. Seeing Miu Miu's eyes looking over, Bisji glared and said proudly, "I am a gem hunter. There is a unique gem blue planet on Greed Island. I want to get it." You agreed to the request of this stinky boy, but you can't just cheat your own senior sister. Xiaoming recalled that the blue planet card is an SS level card, but it is limited to 5 cards. How can it be unique? Could it be that the game of Greedy Island only allows players to complete it once? No player can complete it again in the future? That shouldn't be the case. The game's playability is too low. So, Xiaoming urgently sent out his clone to quickly search the internet and check the news of various gem markets around the world, including the black market. He hoped to find the blue planet and exchange it with Baiziji. However, no information about the blue planet could be found outside Greedy Island. Xiaoming had no choice but to pull Baiziji and bite her ear for a while, telling her that he planned to exchange Witch's rejuvenation potion for his master. Baiziji couldn't stop her from being filial to her master, right? This was an act of occupying the moral high ground and forcing the other party to compromise. To be honest, it was very tasteless. Xiaoming was actually quite ashamed, but there was nothing he could do. Sure enough, after hearing what Mutioyu said, even though Baiziji was very unhappy, she had to agree with Mutioyu's approach. In order to compensate her, Xiaoming spent another 20 billion and let her use it to buy any gems she liked. Anyway, it was all Batra's money, so Xiaoming didn't feel bad. This kind of rich character can always help. There is Terikane Gonzo in Yu Yu Hakusho and Batra in Hunter, they are all like this. Senior sister Biscuit is also a typical money grubber. In the original work, she was very happy to get 1 billion. This time, she was so satisfied that she almost fainted after getting 20 billion. As for the blue planet, although it cannot bring out Greed Island, it will always exist in the game. Biscuit can just play the game frequently, which is not a big problem. On the other hand, Zetsuzela refused to accept 45 billion. Because after the dodgeball battle with Leisha and knowing the fate of the bomb demon, he knew it very well. This wooden man played the biggest role in the game clearance process. Even Xiaja and Killua are stronger than him. He had planned to give Xiaja and others more money, but he just didn't say it before. This time, Mewtwo mentioned the reward again, and Zetsuzela was unwilling to accept the full amount. As a one-star bounty hunter, reputation is very important. He can indeed accept this money, but after accepting it, his reputation will be tarnished. Even if Mewtwo and others keep their mouths shut and don't tell anyone. But doing such a bad thing will also hinder the growth of their own mind ability. Therefore, Juezagila only accepted 10 billion in reward, exchanged contact information with Mew, and left. Xiaoming did not try to retain him. After all, Juezagila's strength was limited, and Xiaoming did not intend to hire him to participate in the Chimera Ant Crusade. If he had to hire, he would hire a stronger hunter, such as the 12 zodiac signs. Xiaoming quietly made arrangements. When the Chimera Ant incident broke out, Batra would take out a large bounty and hire the 12 zodiac signs and anyone in the Zaldik family to work together to deal with the disaster. I hope more people will take this job.